Sure, no worries. So I started my YouTube channel back in 2018 in April, and it was at the same time I decided that I would aim to run my first marathon. I was looking at sort of bucket list things that people did, and I thought, well, let's give this a go. And my YouTube channel was there to really keep myself accountable. So I just started documenting that journey. And I planned originally to run it 2 years later. And I decided a few weeks into my YouTube sort of career that I would just book the Brighton Marathon for 2019. And that's where it all started really for me on YouTube. And alongside that, I had Instagram set up just for a bit of a joke and a bit of fun. And because I just saw that as a funny outlet really to do things that weren't so serious. But YouTube ultimately was where I was putting my content. And that was purely for me to look back on in the future, my family to look back on. It was never created with the intention of getting any subscribers or any interest or views from anybody outside of the four walls that I lived in. But obviously over time, that then starts to kind of build. And now I'm at a stage where people do watch my videos, which I'm very grateful for, but it still comes back to the core reason I did it, which is for me to look back on in 5, 10, 20 years time, kind of just a storage space for my journey. So that's kind of what it's all about. And it just started as a goal, and each sort of race, each thing I focus on comes from that same idea that it's a goal, it's a challenge, and I always sort of strive to see if I can make those things become a reality, really.
So I've now got 13 kind of just little quick fire questions. The first one is, do you measure in miles or kilometers?
Kilometers, because the numbers are bigger. It sounds more impressive.
It does. Do you prefer to run on the road, trail or track?
Definitely now trail. It was always road. I never experienced trails before, but then since experiencing them, they just take precedence over everything else. Trails.
Do you prefer sports nutrition or real food?
Good one. I think probably sports nutrition has always served me very, very well. Real food has caused me problems, so sports nutrition is probably the best way forward.
Do you prefer flat routes or hilly routes?
Depending on the time of the week, I think hilly routes the weekend, flat routes in the week. That is what I prefer.
Do you prefer training late in the evening or early in the morning?
Early morning is my preference.
What's your bucket list race, that one race that you really want to do?
So originally when I started running and thinking about the idea of maybe doing a marathon, at the same time I was looking at videos on YouTube, and the one that really appealed to me at the time was a Hard Rock 100 mile race at America. And about 10 years ago, I'd gone out to Chamonix on a trip and hadn't really understood at that time what that was all about and how important that is in the running scene. So I think it'd be fair to say that a race in Chamonix would be incredible. But Hard Rock 100 was the one that was there at the very start and has always been at the back of my mind.
Do you prefer short, fast training sessions or long endurance sessions?
I prefer the longer ones. I've just really settled into the focus on sort of distance, time on legs, and I've enjoyed that a whole lot more than kind of the pressure of speed. And I think for me, with the speed, it's very easy to get disheartened if you don't hit a certain set of parameters. Then the session effectively isn't one that's really served you that well, whereas the ones over time and distance, you can just keep going, stop when you want, and still feel like you've achieved.
Do you train with music or without?
So the first 3 months of me starting running, I always use music, and for the last probably 2 years now, I haven't used any music at all. I did used to find it would help me with my breathing, which is why I started using it. I used to use music with a certain kind of BPM, so that would allow me to get into a better breathing pattern. But actually, when I spend more time on the trails, I don't like to be kind of inhibited by anything. I like to hear what's around me. So I don't use music at all now.
Do you stretch regularly? Yes or no?
No.
I've had a few people say no, but it's something that they know they want to work on. But it's very different for different people, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't warm up. I don't warm up as much as I should do. But in terms of the kind of the foam rolling and the stretching out, if my legs feel like they need to be stretched out, so after sort of a long run, then I will do that, and I'm quite sensible with it. But I don't commit a certain number of minutes each day or a certain number of hours each week to it. It's kind of as and when. And I think with things like stretching, you can always do more. So I think it'd be fair to say no, because I don't do it as well as I should.
Do you prefer training in hot weather or cold weather?
Hot, 100% hot weather.
Obviously, I'm completely the opposite. I prefer it in cold weather. I find it easier to warm up than I do cool down. I'm horrendous in hot weather training sessions.
Yeah, I do get that. I think when I look back on my best runs, they've always been in that sort of between May and July. So we're not talking about really, really hot weather, but just when you can get in the morning, it's sort of between 11 and 15 degrees. You can run along the river. You've not had to really layer up. Muscles feel like they warm up a little bit quicker as well. But yeah, because I don't do midday running, I've never really been out in that real top of the day.
Really hot.
No, super extreme heat. I try to avoid that because that's just pretty unpleasant. But I think it just lifts your spirits when it's a nice sunny day instead of the snow, the dark, the rain.
Yeah, definitely. The next one, do you prefer an isotonic drink or plain water?
I drink a lot of water anyway. That's kind of my go-to drink, regardless of whether I'm running or just kind of day to day. So water is always something I just tend to consume a huge amount of. And then just the sports-based drinks, isotonics, is just for the running.
What's your go-to post-race food?
Anything with potatoes, pretty much. A potato-based food is always good. Yeah, I think because you can just put a bit of salt on there. And not too much. But yeah, potatoes. Anything with potato will work for me.
And then the last one, if you couldn't do your current sport, what would your alternative sport be?
Badminton.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that one.
No, I did it when I was about 14. I used to go each week to the local sort of sports facility and did badminton with some friends. Did it for about 2 years. I don't know why I started. I don't really know why I stopped. But I used to do that. And I used to enjoy it because I wasn't very good at tennis and badminton, different sort of set of skills. I could just hit it hard and there was less chance of it going, sky high. And I think, I'd like to get back into that. I think it's quite good for the cardio. But yeah, so I think badminton will be good. Super. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
That's right. Well, thank you for taking the time to come and chat to me today. It's been absolutely brilliant. So
no worries. Anytime.
Certainly had lots of fun. I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your day. And
thank you.
I will hopefully speak to you again soon at some point.